I'm a volunteer, and one of the things that was an outcropping of that discussion was, how can I get involved? Because I laid out to Sean what my experience was. We have a daughter who has substance abuse problems that started way back in her early teens, and she's now in her early 30s, and it's been off and on, sort of an ongoing thing with her. So my wife and I had been involved in Al-Anon for a number of years, and so all the experience, strength, and hope that we'd gained from Al-Anon, and we still go, I wanted to be able to share maybe in a different kind of a setting with families of these teens, because it was my sense early on in getting involved with Safe Harbor that I wish we would have done this. I wish this would have been available to us when our daughter was in her teen years. We might have been able to soften some of the things that have happened since then. So I just wanted to be able, I don't believe that God gives us experiences, positive or negative, for no reason. And so I felt very strongly that God gave us this so that we could share with other families that are hurting. And my wife does the same thing in a different context, not with Safe Harbor, so we have been able to use those experiences. The families that are hurting are frequently hurting. They're hurting for a number of reasons, but many times it's a spiritual problem. Many times it's just it's a presence of sin and an absence of Jesus, frankly, in all of their lives, in their family lives. And it gets to a point, it snowballs to a point to where it just gets away from them. And Safe Harbor is a very good attempt to bring Jesus into those families, and through the 12 modules that we go through, address the crisis, but bring better communication into those families, because I know our experience was such that it was a day-to-day survival. It was just, if I can just get through this day, then I'll worry about tomorrow. It's that kind of almost a battle. And so what Safe Harbor does is it lets everybody take a deep breath and bring the volume in the family down to the point to where it can lessen the conflict, and they can start to learn how to communicate better as a family and start to fill those gaps that are there in the family, many of which involved just a need for the Lord. And so it does that. And some families are really helped by Safe Harbor, and some are not, because I think it's what you put into it is what you get out of it, like so many things in life. And we see families that come in and the kids just, you can see them shut down. And some of them stay that way, they stay shut down through the end. And some are like this at the beginning, and at the end they've opened up and they've let their guard down, and they get serious about the family healing. And it's gratifying to see the Lord work through those families. But it doesn't always work, like so many things. Well, a lot of the families that come in already, I'll use the word, they're churched. I don't know how steep they are in their faith, but they're churched. Some come in and they're not Christians at all, and they'll tell you right off. And we've had some Jewish families in there, and that's all okay. And all we can really do is weave Jesus through all the family dynamics that we talk about, and in that way, hopefully, if not strengthen their faith, for some, just start to kindle some spark of faith in them, so that they see that really much of what's going on in their family is sin. It's just sin, plain and simple, that has been allowed to grow and fester, and they don't have tools to counteract that without the Lord. And so it's not a simple solution. Well, let me rephrase that. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's just like Christianity. It is simple, but it really isn't easy. It's a daily commitment to follow the Lord. And you wake up the next morning and you start all over, and you make a daily commitment to follow the Lord. In these families, they walk in with no tools to help, and they walk out at least with the tools. Whether they choose to practice them or not are there is the proof of the pudding in the future. In my particular paradigm is the substance abuse part of it, because that's what brought me there. But the problems, we do have kids that come in there that are really not, substance abuse is not their issue. They're just defiant, they're bitter, they're angry, all the things that come with that cause the family problems. And some of them are not substance abuse. But those problems are not Birmingham problems, they're universal problems. There's not other than a language barrier, I don't know of anybody around the world that couldn't go on the website and avail themselves of the opportunities there and the resources there, and get a tremendous amount out of it. So, sin is a universal problem, as we all know, and I think it's the root cause of all of it. There are lots of ways to get involved. The first is an obvious one, and that is financial. The ministry itself, like all ministries, they don't run for free. There are resources that have to be attained. There's just a lot of things that cost money to reach people, and so that's one way, one obvious way. Another way is to volunteer, as I and others do. And it's easy for some people to stroke a check. It's a lot harder sometimes to show up and to make a time commitment. And a lot of people have, like myself, have been involved with kids that have gotten involved in drugs, and they're on the other side of it. And so it's just a way to give back. And my wife and I are not alone. There are a lot of people out there that are in that boat, that have a lot of experience, strength, and hope to share with people who are currently suffering. And you can watch them walk in and they hurt. They're just hurting. And people like us, we may still be hurting, but at least we can recognize that in others, and we can see that pain and do what we can to help alleviate it. So really, I think volunteering, spreading the word, financial support, those are the main ones. Well, Sean is a one-man show with Laurie's help and support, but Sean is sold out to this ministry, and his heart's in it. He cares about it. He's got a great story to tell himself, and he's really the perfect fellow to run this thing. He's engaging. He's when we meet on Tuesday night, Sean is he's a really good mix of being lighthearted and also being serious about what we're doing. And if you can't get in a meeting about your kids and laugh about some of the things that go on to help break the tension, you just want to lay down and cry. So there has to be a good mix of that, and Sean's really the perfect leader for that kind of thing. I just pray that the Lord stirs hearts and stirs people like myself to stop and take a step back from the problem they may have had, like my wife and I's problem with our daughter, and say, Lord, how can I use this? How can I not waste this opportunity? Because we all want to share fun things that happen in our life, but it's hard to share things that have been painful and see where God has worked. And so that's what I would hope more people would do.
I want to invite you to take a look at our website, revelationstvseries.org. It's produced by Horizon Media Studios. It's a 501c3 media ministry, and what we're doing is helping other ministries tell their story. Homeless shelters and children's homes, Bible colleges, seminaries, mission sending agencies. With your help, we can continue to help tell their story, to inspire the world, to shine their light, and let God get the glory for the work that's being done in advancing the kingdom of Jesus Christ.